What is up, my lovely people in Blue Tablet land? So for today's video, guys, I'm going to be drawing y'all this cute, creepy little ghost. If that's something you guys are into and would like to follow along, stick around and let's get started. So for the first thing I'm going to do is draw this circular looking misshaped eye. It's not a perfect circle, but you get the idea. I'm going to fill in the eye and then draw another circle. Man, these eyes don't really have to be circular. I mean, you can make it any shape you want. And then for this mouth over here, I just figured I'd draw like this, kind of like as if the ghost is like, woo, I'm a ghost. And like just kind of drew a silhouette of a ghost upside down. And then for his outline, I'm just gonna follow this outline that I did draw earlier on, which is kind of interesting because when you're drawing a ghost, I mean, there's not really a whole lot that's going on, because all it is just this cloak or this white cloak over this mysterious, spiritual looking being that used to live at some point. So, yeah. So for this part, yeah, you can pretty much just draw like a little blob, and then you can pretty much add your shapes to it. I mean, you can make it have hands, kind of speak sometimes. And then I didn't really like how that turned out, so I kind of went and redid that. But yeah, gonna add some hands to this little fellow. Sometimes, I mean, if you want, I mean, you could just, as I said, draw a ghost without hands. But then I think if you do them that way, they kind of look like upside down bags with no handles. So I think the hands kind of does help with the storytelling of this mysterious looking ghost. As I was continuing to draw this ghost, I kind of thought of the movie Casper, which I think is kind of at this point a signature movie for Halloween that features ghosts. And I remember when it first launched, it was kind of so cool to watch the movie unfold and how the actual Casper the ghost actually became a boy for what is it, like I think an hour or something, and kind of had like this spin-off of the Cinderella movie, yeah, where she kind of, I guess in the Cinderella fairy tale, the prince comes in and kind of looks for all the ladies and tries their shoes on, or tries the shoe on to see which one it fits. And then in this one, there was a twist in the aspect where the girl kisses the boy and then he kind of changes into a ghost. And then he was like, boo! And then everybody just darted out the enchanted looking, what is it, kind of I think the building was called Witchcraft or Whipcraft or something like that. But, so many fun memories of when you think of these Halloween themed movies. So for this part over here, since I wanted to color him, I figured I'd change the background to like a little darker shade of blue, so that way you can actually see the white color. Go ahead and make a new layer, and then turn the line art to the reference layer, and then just drop the color over here. Kind of gave this little line work on the ghost to kind of show some sort of texture for this little cloak that apparently he's wearing. And for the colors, since it's white, it's kind of hard to really give the ghost any kind of contrast. So I kind of stuck with like these light blues. And I don't know if you guys can see it really well, but it's like a really light shade of almost like a sky blue, which I think kind of goes with the whole ghost vibe. Then I kind of used the same color to go over his eyebrows. So I think that blue color almost gives that feel to the ghost, kind of like, how when you look, I think, what is it? Where I was talking about the movie Casper, how it has like this illuminated kind of a glow look. So I guess that's what I was trying to make it look like in this. But obviously, I mean, I guess there would be more rendering it required. But since this is going to be a really simple how to draw a ghost video, I kind of didn't want to get carried along, carried on, or Is that what I was trying to say? I don't know what I was trying to say, but yeah. But I do know that Procreate in one of the brushes has this illumination brush, which is kind of really cool. And it almost looks like when I first tried this brush, it honestly felt like I was actually writing with a light because it's kind of cool how it gives you that illuminated glow. So if you're ever drawing something like a illustration that requires a light and you use this brush, I mean, it's a perfect representation of what light would look like when it's turned on. So just as I followed the illustration around, just kind of gave more of this bluish, light blue looking background. I'm not background, sorry, outline. So it kind of looks like the fellow is glowing a little bit. But as I said, like, drawing a ghost, I mean, there's not so much you can do. So, you kind of just make do with what you have. And, if you guys are drawing your own ghost, I mean, you can mess around with different colors. You can make a glow, a ghost, not just white, it can be off-white. But I think for the most part, I think white's usually what is the standard color when people think about drawing ghosts. So, yeah, so for this part, again, as I said, like, we're just gonna use this light blue to kind of give it some sort of a 3D look. So it doesn't look like flat on the actual tablet. But yeah, I mean, as I said, you can always experiment, I guess, when you're doing different colors, especially when you're rendering with white. There's always, at least for me, I've never seemed to find the best uh, use of color when it comes to actually shading it. But I've noticed that if you use the lighter shades, it kind of gives the white color that nice, supple, soft look. So if this is something you wanted to turn into a sticker at some point, it kind of has that nice, soft, illustrative look to it. So I think that kind of looks cool. So when you're doing an illustration that requires some sort of fabric, like in this case, the ghost, I think it's almost cool to just play around and try different techniques to see which one comes closest to what you're trying to get. And for me, what I did was I just used this light blue, what I'm using right now. And then I figured, let me try a little bit of a darker shade of this blue to make the cloak or I don't know I think it's called a cape that ghosts actually have. So kind of did this line so it looked like as if the cloak or the fabric has got like that blown kind of, that look when you have something blowing in the wind and kind of gets these ripples and how the air moves around the fabric. So that's what I was trying to do over here. I don't know if I accomplished that, but I think for the illustration I'm doing, I think it kind of gets the idea across as to what a ghost fabric would look like if it was just blowing on him or her. I think, yeah, but after I was done with this, I kind of looked at it and I was like, man, this ghost looks really too plain. So I figured for the background, I would try something a little bit more interesting than the last one, which I watched, or what I do for you guys. I not watched the spider. So what I did was I was thinking of what I wanted to do for the background to make it look like it pops. So I went ahead and selected this orange color, and I was trying to go for the look of like a nice big old sun, and started with this circular shape. And then I kind of want to give some texture to the sun, but I was like, you know what, maybe it might make the video way too long because I kind of wanted to keep these videos under a certain time limit. And then I was like, you know what, the sun doesn't look complete, so I kind of wanted to give it some more accessories, as you want to call it. So I drew this tombstone, did a little cross over it. So kind of looks like the sun is not just shining, but it's kind of like in a graveyard kind of a theme. And when you're drawing Halloween stuff, you can pretty much just add anything you want. You could add skulls, you could add a skeleton, maybe you could do a witch's broom, anything that kind of fits into the whole theme of Halloween. So yeah, so all these tombstones what I just drew, or these two tombstones that I just drew, were just random things that popped in my mind. I was like, what could be nice next to a sun? And then I figured like I'd draw these trees that had no leaves. And usually when they show these horror or these ghostly looking trees in a what do you say, a haunted forest, they always have no trees. Not no trees, no leaves. And figured I'd give it this nice jagged, ruffled up, rough look. And just keep the Halloween vibe live and well in this one. Gosh, sorry about that. But yeah, drawing trees is also, I think, just what do you call it? Just putting lines together and just trying to get the silhouette of a tree to as close to as it possibly can. Drawing the branches also, is just kind of like, just putting these irregular, misshaped lines all together. Almost looks like you're drawing a hand with like, fingers on the, like, if you were to position your fingers on a flat surface. But so I figured instead of doing another tree, I'll just go ahead and, with the magic of digital art, whoop, you have another tree. Then flip them around, not upside down, obviously. Turn it around. And then I figured I'll add a little bit more to this tree. And trees by itself, I think, make a good Halloween accessory. And once you do these branches, there's so many things you could add to the tree. Like I could have probably drawn an owl or maybe a bat. Just ideas for you guys. And another thing I want to do is give the tree, make it look like it's alive. So I used the eraser and then just started taking away from the ink. Give it like some nice creepy looking eyes. And I did the exact same thing for this one after realizing that it was in a different layer. Do another eye over here. This again is, it's just totally up to you guys. If you want, you can draw this or you can just leave it as is. And then just use the eraser to give the tree some sort of texture. So it kind of looks like it's got the bark of the tree kind of theme going on. And pretty much all it's doing is just taking away from the art or the actual color. Do the RIP. I actually once asked my mom, what does RIP stands for? Does it stand for RIP? And she's like, no, it's not a RIP. It's rest in peace. And I was like, why would they put RIP on somebody that has just passed away? Were they just trying to be funny? But voila, here is the final piece, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this little drawing of this little cute little creepy ghost. And maybe y'all can draw it along and share it with me and tag me on Instagram. So till the next one, guys, keep creating. I'll see you down the road or in the next one. Bye for now.